Oh, we're back. Alright, so as I mentioned to you just before there, we are seeing certainly an increase in wind speed in the last 2 to 3 hours out here, blowing fairly close to gales, but overall no real significant wind gusts in that, and we haven't seen any signs of any more damage than we showed you earlier today. So that being a couple of trees were down and some branches across the road as we did our drive-by this afternoon. So while there has been an increase in wind speed in the last hour or so, it's nowhere past what it has been so far. So the interesting thing about this is that so far, you know, most of the year, this whole place has absolutely zero surf. It is dead as anything here. And that's why earlier today when we came out, we saw a whole bunch of people surfing. And really, I don't know if I'd be braving it, but apparently they say the story goes that when it's this rough out here, the crocs stay away. So hopefully that's the case, because I'm pretty close to the water's edge myself. So Cyclone LAM is over in that direction there from where we are now. So that direction directly is LAM, around about 150 or so kilometres away from us, or about 140 kilometres away from us. So he has moved a little bit further away. But as I mentioned, that the waves and the wind conditions here will slowly shift from where they're coming from here and gradually shift to around about there, which is a northeasterly. And when they start coming in from there, you've got a fair bit of wave action that's going to move in that direction too. So you're going to have southeasterlies, and then the wave action is going to be coming more from that direction there at us. Just to let you know what we've decided at Oz Cyclone Chasers is that we'll be heading out. Well, we've already booked the flight out of here. Well, I've booked the flight out of here. Be checking up with Trav in Townsville tomorrow afternoon, and the plan is to go and chase the Queensland cyclone tomorrow night and into Friday down towards central Queensland. Obviously that is dependent on me getting out of here, and it really does depend on the cyclone as to whether I can get out of here, because overnight the cyclone's expected to slow down, and as it slows down it's then expected to start moving in a southerly direction. And so it's expected to continue to create havoc with airlines and airspace in the region. So whether or not I can get out of here, well, that's certainly an issue that we're going to have to come across tomorrow. If I do get out of here, I will certainly be going over to Queensland to chase that particular cyclone there. Now that one doesn't look like a traditional great cyclone. It looks like a very lopsided hybrid looking thing. But hey, if it's packing 120 km/h winds, you never know. We might be able to get something decent out of that. So that's the plan at this stage, because moving off to Elcho Island tonight, obviously not an option. Today was not an option. Millingimbie's another spot, but once again, very difficult to get to. Maningrida is another spot, but that might be a little bit too far to the west. So we don't want to be west of the system. So folks, yeah, that's where we're standing here at the moment. But as I say, Cyclone LAM is right over there, by about 140 kilometres away. It is currently about, let me just have a look here, 6:06 local time. If we have a look at these trees up here, they are showing signs that their winds are definitely strong, and then occasionally getting up to gale force. The sand is stinging at times, but overall not so much. Hey, how are you, mate? Yeah, Chris, how you going?
Steve,
how are you?
yeah, good, thanks.
We're just doing a quick live stream here at the moment to just show people what it's like out here. Hey?
Just visual?
We can make it just visual. Hang on. couldn't make it just visual when it where was it? Yeah, all right. Same too much. Yeah, it looks like it's moving away from here, mate. Yeah. Unfortunately for us, fortunately for most people. Yeah. Were you one of the surfers here earlier?
Nah, I wasn't before earlier.
How are they not here? It's right. Oh, the lights are up. Yeah, that's what they also said. So I guess it's you got to weigh up the risk of getting eaten by a croc. So it might get a bit blustery tonight. Yeah, as it sort of stalls and starts to come southwards, but nowhere near us. The heavy stuff, the intense stuff.
I've been watching stuff.
Okay.
I've been wondering if it's going to come when it's going to turn south.
Yeah, it hasn't done it yet, has it? No, it's been one of the most annoying cyclones I think I've ever come across, because it was going to Queensland, it was going to NT, it was going into the Southern Gulf, it was doing all sorts of rubbish, and you know, we only really found out what it was doing. Well, we're still guessing what it's doing now, but we only found out it was going to come north across the territory, west across the territory 3 days ago. So it's all been really last minute stuff for us booking flights. I mean, Mick Darwin, he's one of our Darwin contingent, wasn't able to get here because his flight just got canned as we got here. So yeah, so it was only me. So I was a bit umming and ahhing here too, because I was on my own. Cat 4 cyclone. You know, it's all good when we're in a team because we all look out for each other, but when you're on your own, it gets a little hairy. Yeah. Oh, you meant to fly out. Oh, righto. So you didn't want to see it out?
I'm happy to stay.
Oh, are you? Yeah. 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 Oh, what do you do? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Didn't they? I thought they said they closed down Hawkside.
The refinery. It's shut for now for this, the weather.
Oh, okay.
The refinery shut.
Yeah, they shut. What's the one they shut 6 months ago?
The refinery.
Yeah, okay.
But they're still hauling the bauxite raw material.
Oh, right,
Still
okay.
That out of every.
So that's still going strong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they were worried about the death of the town. I was speaking to a couple of locals thinking that, because back when the refinery shut down. Yeah, they said there's a lot of houses that people aren't living in at the moment.
Apparently there is heaps of houses empty still.
Yeah.
People want to get houses up here, they can't get them.
Yeah?
Houses are sitting out empty.
Shit.
It's a weird situation,
Yeah. Oh, the plan is to get off to Queensland tomorrow. Yeah, if we can get a flight out, so hopefully it might clear up or something, or we may not get as much rain, or Air North might decide, let's fly these guys out.
I don't think it's Air North's call, it's the airport made the call to shut the airport.
Oh, it was the airport's call. Okay. Well, I reckon they would have done that because they had too much water on the runway or something, wouldn't they? 150 mil they got last night. Yeah, I've noticed that. Even the roads. I thought the road between here and the airport might be shut at some point. No, not even close. Yeah, so.
Close to the ocean. Unless you've got a big tidal surge.
Yeah. Which was another thing I was looking forward to, seeing a bit of a tide surge, but. Oh, okay.
But where the fence is.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
So another probably hour and a half till the tide gets right up tonight.
Well, we're starting to see wind shifting from that direction into that direction there, so yeah, so you might see a bit more fetch from the deep waters from the Arafura coming this way, whereas the Gulf is fairly all shallow, so you can't really get too much.
Maybe tomorrow it might be a bit.
Yeah, you might get a bit larger waves tomorrow. Yeah, the walkabout. Yeah. So hopefully we've paid till tomorrow night as well as tomorrow night. But yeah, if I can get out tomorrow, I'm not going to say no. Yeah. Especially if there's another cyclone to chase. So yeah.
Well, tomorrow was our original exit date.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And they brought it forward.
They brought it forward because of it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get out.
So you were fucked by the way.
Yeah. I was happy to stay,
Yeah. Where do you guys stay? Yeah, they put you up in a house here?
No, we've got accommodation.
Oh, is that what these are? Oh, is that what those are? Yeah.
Just here, up a bit further.
It's like
basically
all...
where you're staying, when you drive out opposite BP there,
Yeah.
across the road from BP, that's accommodation.
Oh, so that's the accommodation.
Yeah.
That looks pretty sturdy, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That looks like it could withstand whatever you throw at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard they got rid of the Groot Island bit. Because the initial Bureau track had the system hitting Groot Island, which it was probably never going to do. But yeah, so they must have overreacted and flew everyone out. So it just goes to show, how much money is weather decisions can cost so much money.
Yeah.
Based on the information you get.
But if they had left everyone there and it come down.
Oh yeah, yeah. They found out that the hard way in WA with Tropical Cyclone George, where a couple of the mining fellas got killed.
Yeah.
Because they put them in dongers that were not fit for Cat 4, Cat 5 standards.
Yeah.
No. Oh, they're pretty good over there now. Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah. Once they got sued, they fixed it. Yeah. Oh, it looks like this is about as much action as we're going to get tonight from this. Yeah, maybe some squally showers coming across.
What happens is then I was up to the towers up the mountain, on the hill with you.
Yeah.
Feel the wind coming through just before the surge of the rain comes.
Yeah.
I think that was as high as it's been the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, those squalls can get up there, eh? Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do for the subscribers' videos and that sort of thing, updates. So yeah, my nights are normally taken up when I'm out here doing stuff. Yeah, it's actually really is a full-time job. When you're out chasing, it's for me particularly, it's like an 18-20 hour day. Like you get bugger all time to rest and relax. So usually food's a pyrocytic roll, and get back into it. So how many of you is there?
We're about 10.
Yeah. So how many of you actually live in the area?
I couldn't tell you how many there.
Oh really? So is that many?
Our company is 60 of us there.
Yeah, right.
And other companies and contractors and stuff.
Yeah.
There. So you've got 100.
Okay. Yeah.
50 people.
Shit, that's alright. You're all going on the walkabout for a feed.
Oh, I don't think everyone's going.
Yeah.
The mess there was open for a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Get some hot food in here. Yeah. Oh, alright, I think we've seen enough from this. That's all we're going to see, I think. Maybe some more when that squall comes through, but that's still 15-20 minutes away. The only other thing you got to watch for in this situation, when the cyclone's to your north-northwest, is tornadoes that spin up really quick. See that cloud there?
Yeah.
That cloud there, on the back edge of that cloud there, is where you would see, if there was a tornado to spin up, it would spin up there. So on that back edge of that cloud. So they're the sort of things you got to look for, and a lot of the time you just can't see them until they're right there, right on top of you, because there's usually rain around. But this would be a perfect situation where you'd be able to see the tornado developing right in there. But obviously there's not one there now, but if there was to be one, it would be there.
You see it clearly?
And in that situation you'd see it. You'd see it coming out of the bottom of that cloud. But normally you'd be, you'd have drizzle in your eyes, and the visibility is terrible, so you normally wouldn't. But it's always a consolation, I guess. If you miss the cyclone, you might see a tornado.
Yeah. You know what you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the other thing. You got to know that where you're looking for it and what you're looking for to be in with a chance.
Alright, it's awesome what you do.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's a good.
Something I'd love to get into, but things don't go that way, but that's alright. But it's one of them, getting out amongst it.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly fun. And they tried to say that to me this morning on the radio, and they said, "Oh, you know, is it all about science?" And I said, "Oh, look, I'd be lying to you to tell you it's all about science. You know, we could always set up a weather station and fly, get the hell out of there. You know, but no, we stay there because we like it. We enjoy it. We get the thrill out of it. You know, we get completely disappointed when one of these things happens, you know, where it misses you by 100k, and you know, it could have been a real good system and it misses you by 100. But those things happen with these, eh? Like, they're hard to predict.
I've seen a few of the feeds and people in canyons and that want a good storm, but it's never about that, is it?
Yeah, no. They don't understand. They think that by us going, yeah, cyclone, it means that we want to see people die.
Yeah.
It's like we're saying, yeah, we're going to see people die. That's not the case, you know. Like, and it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that that's not what we're about.
If you put the cyclone there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. If we were able to manufacture a cyclone and get it to whack, you know, go, well then yeah, get up us, but you know. Of course we're going to be excited. We've had one of the worst seasons on record, and it's in the slowest season on record, and of course we're going to get excited when there's a cyclone around. You know, and that's the other thing that gets me. People don't realise the name. It's called Oz Cyclone Chasers. It's not Oz Cyclone Information. It's Oz Cyclone. So we get amongst it and we love it. We love getting amongst it. And that's Do you go fishing much out here? Do you get much time? No? You just fly in, fly out, and you long days and stuff? Yeah.
12 hour days.
Yeah.
Go around the beaches and the creeks, but you don't get a chance to get out there.
Yeah.
That'd be the best go.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's the other thing I was just saying to all the subscribers earlier today. I'm saying every single house that I've come across all the way through into town had a boat in the front yard. So there's no surprises what they do in their spare time.
Yeah. Well, what else do you do?
Yeah. Oh, there'd be some kick-ass four-wheel drive and dirt bike trails and stuff around, wouldn't there? Yeah, just out the back here, a bit of mud, bit of rain, and knock yourself out. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, well, we've got a weather station in the car, in the back of the car. That's why we always have to hire a car as well whenever we go away, because it's so big and bulky. It's about 50 kilos worth of equipment. And so normally, if this was to be a bit stronger, we would set that equipment up in a really open area. So I think we were planning to set it up there on that grassy area, in this side of the trees. So yeah, right on the headland. So that's where we were planning to set it up if it was going to get a little stronger. And but it's not with a system this week. There's no point in doing that. It's just wasting time and energy, and you're not going to get any good data out of it. You know,
it's going to keep going west for now, isn't it?
Yeah, west for probably another few hours, and then it should stall and then start to come back to the south. Not southeast at this stage, more southwest area. So it's not going to do a Tracy and hook around and come right back at us, no.
With this, where it is at the moment, if it comes south, it's still going to come for 2 days.
Yeah. If it comes south exactly right now, you're going to cop it here still for at least a day, maybe into the second. But if it goes another 3 or 4 hours west, this is what people don't understand. It's so close. The difference between getting the extreme wind and just this sort of rubbish is a matter of 20-30 kilometers. Like we were about 60 kilometers away from the category 3 winds, that's so close. But yet, because we were 100 kilometers away from the middle, we got 60 kilometer an hour winds. So it's just a matter of the pressure gradient, because the pressure gradient between the low and the high pressure systems. The pressure gradient increases the closer you get to the eye. So obviously we get the strongest wind near the eye, but we also get a very quick decrease in winds from the eye. So when you happen to be 100k away, it's just another wet season storm.
Well, there's been
say, your wet season's been rubbish. The go wet season.
There's been a lot of rain this year compared to the last couple.
Speaking of some locals, they were saying the opposite. They reckon, yeah, they reckon they haven't had a wet. Yeah, you certainly didn't get any rain in December. Most of December, definitely none in November.
Maybe it's a bit later, but
yeah, it might have kicked in just the last few weeks.
The last 2 years, I was under the impression that people worked.
Oh right, yeah. Look, last year was terrible. Yeah, no, last year was one of the worst wet seasons I think this area's had. Yeah, it was. Yeah, actually, I think it was the lowest on record in this region. So between Millingimby and here and Brood Island, this whole northeast region, yeah, it was one of the lowest on record. Yeah, so yeah, I believe you there. It's always a bit slow because all the real storms, they start further to the west from here, and and then they travel further west away. So they sort of start around Maningrida, Jabiru, which is hundreds of kilometres away. They don't really start here.
Traditionally, we've seen a lot of them across inland. Last year,
yeah.
Never see it across there.
Yeah, because that's normally what you've got is a ridge in the central parts of Australia. So you've got these east to west winds in the upper levels, which guide the storms that way. Yeah, so that's why they go inland. And it's the same reason why this thing's moving to the west now. Is we've got a ridge. So we've got a ridge, and that's just going to keep guiding it west. There's only a break in the ridge temporarily, which is going to push it south. We were expecting that break now for about a day, but it will come eventually, which will push it south, and then we'll have another ridge kick in and push it west again. So yeah, it's very, very few times here you get an upper trough that's strong enough to capture a cyclone and move it south towards you. That's why, like I was speaking to, I think it's John, the owner of the walkabout, and he said, we would be very surprised as locals to see that it would come from north to south to us. Yeah, and so he was right, and it didn't come that way at all. Yeah. Sometimes it pays to be local more than it pays to be a weatherman, eh? Because you just know your own conditions. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've been working in over 3 years now.
Yeah.
Still just work.
Yeah.
We've been living here for 3 years, been everywhere I
Yeah. What's your shifts like? Is it half-half, 5 on, 5 off, 6 on, 6 off?
We do a week on, days, do a week nights.
Oh, so it's 2 on? Yeah.
And a week off.
That's a pretty full-on 3-week period. Because your days would be, what, 12-hour days? Yeah.
I'm flying in and out of Melbourne at the moment.
Oh, really?
So I go to Cairns and take another flight to Melbourne. So I'll lose 2 days.
Oh, so, but that, is that included in your 2 on?
No. No.
Shit.
It's just circumstances the way it's panned out, eh?
Yeah.
Just go from work, get to Cairns, on my own,
Yeah. Yeah.
We're up here, we moved up to Douglas over.
Okay. Oh, after it? When it went through. Okay.
So that year, we've done about July,
Yeah.
February.
It started Feb, yeah.
So we were up there then, we went through.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed then too.
Yeah, well that one, see, Queensland's a bit different than Northern Territory in that way, because in Queensland, the cyclones that hit the state, they pack a punch to their south. In about 75 to 80% of cases, they'll pack a punch to the south, and they won't pack much to the north at all, unless there's a really strong monsoon coming down. And with that strong monsoon, you get that northerly infeed into the system. So you get that northerly convergence. Normally, we've got a really strong ridge in the Tasman. We don't have much of a monsoon through Queensland, and so what we have is a cyclone that develops, really, really stacked on its southern side. Like this one that's expected to hit them in a couple of days' time is going to be a very similar situation. There's no real monsoon into it, so all it's going to do is it's going to be a lot of convergence at the southern edge, and nothing much to the north. Like you could be about 50k north of this next cyclone that hits Queensland, you wouldn't even know it's a cyclone. Yeah. You know, it would have been like that for Yassi, really, for you guys.
It was fairly windy. A lot of squalls.
Yeah, okay.
That was it.
For a system that was meant to be the biggest on record, you've never seen anything like it.
If you're down south.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mackay, for instance, they were getting Category 1 winds, Townsville Category 3 winds. Yeah. You know, and Townsville was 200 kilometres south of it, Mackay was 400 kilometres south of it, so, you know. Yeah. And mind you, Innisfail was saying, what cyclone, what massive cyclone, you know. Yet Tully, which is 30 kilometres away, or 40 kilometres away, you know, they got annihilated. Yeah. So, yeah, there's certainly different types of systems in Queensland than they are here. Here they tend to be a lot more stacked to the northwest because that's where you get the monsoonal flow coming in from. Yeah. So you don't normally get a really strong ridge, you normally get a really strong monsoon. So therefore, if you happen to be northwest of the system, you get a lot more rain here. Yeah. In the Western Australian systems, why we like chasing them so much is because they're not stacked. They're like your really nice, if you're a purist, Western Australia is a place to chase because they're beautiful looking systems. They are, you know, they're just a picture of what a tropical cyclone should be. Yeah, the thing with WA ones is they don't tend to pack too much rain. They tend to be pretty easy to predict. They tend to be pretty easy to predict, so you can get into position, you know, a day or so ahead of it, which is good because the other thing with WA is they put you on red alert, you're not allowed to move. Yeah. Whereas here, you can move wherever you want. Queensland, you can move wherever you want. Yeah. But WA, very stringent, you're not allowed to move anywhere. Once you're on red alert, bang, you're... Yeah. So you've got to be able to pick your spot fairly closely. Yeah. See, with this one, we always knew it was we were either going to get it or we were not. You know, it was never going to be a 50-50 case, and as it is, we're not. It was a bit of a needle in a haystack, and we chose to gamble on it. Sometimes you lose. Yeah, and that's what's happened with this one.
Some lose some.
Yeah. Well, we win a lot more than we lose, which is good because they're very, very expensive losses. Yeah, we don't like losing too many.
No, you wouldn't. Even like for that yards at Port Douglas, there's still a fair bit of trees and shit all over the place.
Yeah. See, the other thing that Port Douglas... Yeah, with Port Douglas, you've got the rain just at the back of Port Douglas. Yeah. So what you get is a lot of downslope wind effect as well. Yeah. So what you'll get is those northwest winds will come down the slope, pick up momentum, pick up speed, compress as they come down, and create that extra wind. Yeah, definitely. And Cairns gets the same thing. When there's a strong monsoon around, the western suburbs of Cairns, not the coast of Cairns, but the western suburbs of Cairns, will pick up winds up to 100, 110 kilometres an hour in those. But the coast of Cairns, you might see 30, 40 kilometre an hour winds, and you know, half of Cairns is going, what the hell are you people on about? And the other half of Cairns going, my roof's just come off. Yeah. You know, so it's certainly a unique situation, and Port Douglas is in that same boat because they're on that bottom of the range. And I think, is it Port Douglas or Moss? Port Douglas is right on the beach, isn't it? Yeah. Where's Mossman? Yeah, so Mossman doesn't cop it as bad. Port Douglas cops it pretty bad, those downslope stuff. Yeah, they're all fascinating little microclimates in all these different areas.
Missing cyclones all the time. You don't want them to go there, really, but...
Yeah, it's really a luck of the draw, and I mean, Cairns...
It's not the range or anything? Where
No, there's no deflection effect or anything like that, no. It's you got to think about the amount of energy released by a tropical cyclone and how large a synoptic scale system it is. It's not going to be affected by, you know, a couple of mountains.
Like this.
Yeah, you know, like... the only thing that will affect it, it'll disrupt the central circulation, the low to mid-level circulation, and create maybe a weakening effect, a very fast or faster than normal weakening effect. Yeah. because of that disruption in the circulation. But if it's tracking fast across that range, it won't do anything. There are some studies that are showing that there might be an attributed 10 to 30 kilometre deflection. So as the system hits, it deflects to the north, I believe. As it hits, it deflects to the north slightly, and yet that deflection doesn't happen further south. So systems that hit sort of southwards will just cross straight through. Systems that hit Ingham northwards will deflect slightly northwards. It's only a very, very slight wobble on and usually on the track map it doesn't show, but if you look at it on radar, you'll see a very slight wobble there. And that's some sort of frictional effect. They did the science behind it, but they're still debating. They're still debating whether or not it actually is, because they've got other case studies where it hasn't happened, and they've got studies where it has happened. And so they're still, umming and ahhing. Does it have an effect? Doesn't it? But in overall, where they hit and where they go, no, it doesn't have any effect. Yeah. No worries. Good to meet you. No worries. Get out. Hey? Hope you get out. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. All right. So folks, I'm back. I can't see your chats because I'm using this through my phone. So if you are chatting, I hope you're chatting amongst yourselves, because I can't actually read what you're writing. But we can certainly see an increase here in the sea level. Now, obviously part of that is attributed to a higher tide coming through, but part of that would also be an effect of the wind pushing the water up against the land, and so part of that would be a small surge. By small, we're only talking a case of 20, maybe 30 centimetres. Nothing major. Folks, it is getting quite dark here, so what I might start doing is heading back to the shoreline, back to the car. The last thing I want to do is be croc bait at night time. I can't see, but the croc can. Speaking of crocs, how nice a little spot is this for a nice little croc that's just sitting there under the water waiting for someone silly like me to come close to the water's edge. This would be a perfect croc spot. So when I first came out here, we had winds probably gusting up to about 50, 60, maybe 65 kilometres an hour. Since I've come out here, I must be cursed, because the wind has died down. We're probably seeing winds around about 30 kilometres, maybe gusting to about 45, 50 kilometres an hour here at the moment. So things have certainly died down. We have another squall line coming through. Oop, we got a bit of water coming up. We got another squall line coming through here over the next 10-15 minutes, so conditions might increase again. And once again, for those of you that have just joined us, you've got to remember this is quite remarkable for this part of the world, because this is completely glassy normally. So you might think, oh yeah, that's only half a metre or a metre wave. Well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is, in a place that gets no waves ever, you know, half a metre to a metre wave, it's not too bad. And that's why we had a lot of locals surfing this morning. It's gotten a bit more choppy today, late as the day wore on. Earlier today, there was some better swell, and was probably easier to surf. At the moment, what's happening is we're getting winds coming from the southeast, eventually veering away to the northeast, or backing away, I should say. Veering is the other way. So backing away to the northeast, and therefore what we're seeing is a confused swell. So overall it's coming in an easterly direction, but earlier today it was all coming from the southeast. Now it's sort of coming in from the east, but it's also mixing with swell coming in from the northeast, and so it's all a little bit confused. We'll pop up here on the rocks and then we'll head back in. Gotta run in before that water gets me. Got there. Let's try that again on something less slippery. Much better. There we go. What does this say? A little bit stronger and I'd have been in my elements with these waves smashing the rocks and the wind smashing me in the head. Would have been perfect. See, the wind has obviously displaced part of the sign there. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's clanging away as it hits the vents. I'm heading back into the car now, folks, because that tide is starting to come up and it's going to be cutting me off in the next 15 or so minutes. Oof. Geez, that's risen quickly, hasn't it? I was able to get across that just 2 minutes ago. Alrighty. Might just duck out of here while we can. That's the other thing with a storm surge. While this isn't a bad example of one, when we do get a storm surge, the water can come up in a matter of seconds, and it can come up meters in a matter of seconds. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there was this really good footage from Typhoon Haiyan, which hit the Philippines about a year and a bit ago now, of the water coming up in about 60 seconds is all it took to wash away a house, from no water at all to the house over the top of the roof of the, to the water over the top of the roof of the house in 60 seconds. So that's 3.5 meters of water in 60 seconds. That's how fast a storm surge can get up there. One of the most powerful things you will ever see in nature. Alrighty, things have died down here now, folks, and we'll head back now. For those of you that have watched the live stream today, please send us some feedback. Let me know on the email how you liked it. Would you rather have just stayed in the one spot? Do you like it when you come along on these trips with me? I'll go off what feedback I get. So if you'd rather just have a live feed that just sits there in a motel room and just looks out of the motel room, we can do that. If you'd rather have a go at both, we can do that as well. Send me some feedback. Let me know what you prefer. This is our little beast of a car. A Hilux Workmate, 2-wheel drive, not a 4-wheel drive because I'm a manual driver only. Sorry, I'm an auto driver only, not a manual driver. We've got a hard top at the back. That makes sure that anything in there is dry and not waterlogged. So our weather station is in the back. We haven't taken it out yet. We just had the police turn up. As I say, folks, if it's all up to you guys. This is if we get to the Queensland one in a couple of days, I'll go off what you guys want. If you just want the live stream to just sit in the one spot, then let me know and we can organise that if it's too shaky for you to come along on those trips. But as I say, I can only do that if I get feedback from you. So you guys are the subscribers. You guys are paying to help us to be able to do these sorts of things. So we want to make sure that you guys are as happy as possible. Obviously, the big thing with us is the internet coverage. When we go out to these remote locations, internet is always a problem. Always a problem. And there's no real solution to that problem, unfortunately. Not at this stage, unless we get better 3G or faster 3G and 4G coverage. So we're just going to take another little bit of a drive around town again, just to see if anything has changed. Remembering, of course, that we've already done this big drive around. I'm just looking for any more damage that might have happened through the day. Look, I can't imagine there was any, because as I said, the winds really picked up when we went for that walk, and since then, before then, we were more looking at that 30, 40, 50 kilometre an hour mark. Now, as we mentioned earlier today, if you notice, that tree there has been felled. It's one of a couple of trees that have been felled, but overall the town has really come out pretty good out of this. Certainly would have been a different story if the town was located, say, 100 kilometres further to the west. So you can see there a branch on the ground. There are a lot of these streets with those branches just on the ground. This is our little dead-end street that we almost took the last time around. Almost got ourselves lost. That would have made for an interesting day. And that's about as far as we can go. We'll head around. This is the protected part of town, so we'll head around over to the windy part of town and see how that's going. Servo shuts at 6 p.m. So let's head out of town. Emergency services car, thankfully, hopefully not used. Police officer. And this was around about the windy part of town, I believe. Maybe one street up. Take another look here at this street here. Yep, this was it. I think it was it. If not, we'll go for another adventure. Yep, I don't think it was it. Anyway, we'll go for an adventure. We'll see where we're going. Alright, was this the one where I went left or right? We're going to go right. Uh-huh, yep. Ooh, actually, we might go straight here. don't think we've seen this street before. Preschool. It's a fairly big community. I didn't think because before I do before we actually come on a chase, we do a little bit of reconnaissance on Google Maps and Google Earth, and do a bit of a Wikipedia search on the place that we're going to. I really didn't think it was as big as it is. It is actually quite a large place. Now this was the windy end of town, so this area certainly had signs that it was copping winds that were probably in the 60 to 80 kilometre an hour range. There doesn't seem to be any further debris. Oh, there's a branch on the road. Yep. So this was the windy part of town. We had a fair few branches down. It looks like a couple of branches have been cleaned up. There was a few more than that the last time we were here. Oh, yeah, we definitely got a fair bit of windage up there. Once again, the big problem with seeing so much wind up there is that you can't measure it unless you've got an automatic weather station that the Bureau uses, which uses a 10 metre high mast. You just can't. There's just no way of getting up there to measure it. But you can see this whole area has had a lot more wind than the other parts of town, and you can see it's still having a lot of wind. Oops. We are going to go backwards. I feel like I'm in a truck with this thing, with the amount of beeping it does. Alright, and now we're going to go forwards. You got to remember, I'm a sedan driver or a soccer mum car driver. And I think we're back on, no, not the Arnhem Highway, but we're back on the road that'll take us back to the highway, and then we'll trudge back into town, and that'll do us, I think. That'll do us for the night. There's not too much to see. See, normally, folks, what would happen in this situation, we would have the live stream going 24/7. It would just be constant, non-stop, and you'd just be there watching it the whole time, and we'd be seeing a lot more awesome stuff. In fact, we'd be seeing a lot of awesome stuff, not a lot more, because we haven't seen any awesome stuff today. I think the highlight of the day today was a person that needed a jump start. The pole, of course, the pole. Who can forget the pole? That was the highlight. A tree down. I think we just passed the tree down. We stopped to have a look at that earlier today. You can find a photo of that tree down on our Instagram. Pretty much back to now. We're pretty much back to the highway. That was certainly a strong wind gust. We could feel the car move to the side there. So look, we are still getting the occasional, you know, gale force wind gust. It's just not the norm. It's not a constant, you know, low howling wind. It's just a one gusty bit of wind and then followed by nothing, then followed by a gusty bit of wind and nothing. We're heading back into Nhulunbuy, however you say it. I don't think I'll ever be able to say this town's name. It's a nice name, I just can't say it. Alrighty, so the plan is get home. Yeah, get home, and then we'll do a video update. I'm sure there's a lot of Queenslanders that are pretty keen to find out what's going to happen with their little cyclone, and then get ready to leave tomorrow and head to Queensland to chase Cyclone Marsha. That is the plan. I can't get anywhere west, so I can't head off to Elcho Island or Millingimby tonight, which is what I would have done had I been, you know, had I had an option to do that. Unfortunately, flights to there would be cancelled, and not only that, if we were to charter our own flight, it would cost us way too much money. And I mean, we've got a number of subscribers, and thank you very much, but we would need probably 3 times the subscribers to be able to afford something like that. This big Centrelink. I think Centrelink's like one of the biggest buildings in this town. It's weird. I wonder, that might also be the area for the town council. Oops, I've missed that turn, so we'll do the next turn. Alrighty folks, that's where I think we'll leave the live stream for this particular chase. If there is something happening overnight, I'll certainly be putting it back up, and I'll let you know it's going back up. But folks, at the moment I can't see us needing a live stream again for this particular chase. It's been a bit of a disappointment, but we'll live to fight another day. It's always hit and miss, these sort of systems where they're not really well predicted, and sometimes you just take a chance. You know, occasionally you get it right. Most times you'll get it wrong, and this was one time where I'm fair to say we got it wrong. We didn't get it wrong by much. We got it wrong only by about 100 kilometres, and you know, and there's a fair bit of merit in that, because 100 kilometres, given the type of error margin that was given by the bomb, is pretty close. If you recall, we had to make this call 3 days ago. The bomb 3 days ago had an error margin that spanned the entire Gulf of Carpentaria. So, you know, I think we've done pretty well. Alright folks, thanks for watching our live stream today, and we'll have another live stream hopefully sometime tomorrow night as we go through, if I can get to Queensland. Alright, we'll talk then. Just remember, check your update tonight. We'll have a subscriber update sometime, what's the time right now? 7:30, so it'll be probably about 9 o'clock. Thanks for watching, see you later.